Welcome to Preparing for the Unexpected. I'm your host, Alex Fullick. And as always, I like to talk about things related to disasters, preparedness, either at home, in the office, in our communities, and disasters, business continuity, crises, COVID-19, and anything that puts your life and safety in jeopardy. And that's why I'm here. And today, my first show, I want to talk about uh, something that I heard on the radio on the weekend, something that's kind of driven me up the wall for the last few years, and it has to do with permission slips when you're sick. I can't imagine needing a permission slip to be sick in the age of COVID-19. That makes no sense to me. It really doesn't. Many employers still ask, why, uh, why are you sick? Go to a doctor's office, get us a slip. And really what they're doing is saying, we don't believe you. We don't trust you. We know you're not sick. But that's not the case. This is COVID-19, and right now it's the fall of 2020 and we've got the flu season coming in. And even if it wasn't the fall with the flu season, there's the potential for allergies. I suffer from allergies. My dog, who's sitting at my feet, is hypoallergenic, so he doesn't bother me. But if that was a cat, I would have problems breathing. If I have problems breathing, that makes it worse even for me for COVID. But why do organizations always ask for these slips to validate that you were sick? Because really, it kind of reminds me of when we were kids, in school, and you had to put up your hand to see if you could go to the washroom. Remember those days? Maybe they still do. I don't know. It's been a couple of years since I was in school. Maybe they still do that. But that, as you got older, and I shouldn't have to beg for permission to be sick. And if I do have to go get a slip, aren't I putting other people in danger? If I'm really sick with a terrible cold, a flu, or something else, I have now got to get on public transit or in a car, a taxi, something where other people are, potentially catch something more from them, or give them what I've got, go to a doctor's office. Now I'm around other people who are sick, or I could be making them worse than where they are, tying up the doctor's time and his office staff to write a note saying, can you validate that, Alex was sick? And then I give that note to, my employer the next day or the next couple of days. And if I do get that note, what a lot of doctors do now is they charge me. So why do I have to be impacted physically because I'm sick, mentally because I'm frustrated, emotionally, why am I going through this rigor, simply because, I'm not feeling well and I need to stay in bed, and now be impacted financially. So that makes no sense to me. If I got all those impacts, I might as well just get dressed, go to the office, and I end up making everybody else sick, only to have my employer turn around and say, you should have stayed home. But they're the ones who are causing the problem. They're the ones that are making us go out, and get these notes that validate our illness. They're the ones that are making us go to the doctor's office and tying up our frontline responders with writing a note when they are swamped as it is with all sorts of other things that are going on, different patients with different illnesses, COVID, why? We don't need this. Now, I heard it on the radio on the weekend, and it was because the Ontario government, the province in which I live, is now starting to consider banning that whole practice. And I support that. That is fantastic. And there's going to be people who turn around and say, yeah, but Alex, people are going to call in sick now all the time. You know what? That's going to happen. And it always has happened. There will always be people who want to recharge their battery someday. And that's just going to happen. I do. There are days I wake up and I don't want to get out of bed. I'm just so comfortable. I don't want to go in, face my boss, or I don't want to go in and talk about a certain subject ad nauseum again when we've already attended 20 different meetings about the same thing already. It's just not worth it. Some days I want to stay home. With COVID-19, I am home all the time right now, but that's a different point. So, you know, that's going to happen. And it happens in every industry. It doesn't matter what job a person has, what industry they work in, where it be manufacturing, a school, a medical clinic, outdoors, indoors, office towers, with a bunch of people, with few people, on their own or not. It doesn't matter. People are going to have days where they just want to recharge their batteries and call in sick. So suck it up, buttercup. That's the way it's going to be. So I'm all for this, and especially during COVID. Come on. We're being told by the government, stay home, stay in a bubble, don't associate with large groups, always wear a mask, if you can, keep social distancing. And then our employers, sorry, tell us, "Oh, go to a doctor's office and get a note." It makes no sense to me. And I'm sure it makes no sense to you. So in closing, I just want to say I hope the Ontario government goes through with this and we can say goodbye to those damn notes because I hate them. I've had to do it a couple of times myself. I only had to pay for it once, but that was frustrating. And I tell you, the next time I did go into the office feeling sick and only to be told I should have stayed home. Well, get your head on straight. Stick to one point of view and then we'll follow it. So here's